Hey Internet, Heroes Crisis #1 came out this week. We probably should talk about it. Hello Monkeys Fighting Robots fans. I'm Matt Sardo and we are in the Monkeys Fighting Robots studio, aka my office? I don't know, what. Heroes Crisis #1 came out this week and it's written by Tom King. Art is by Clay Mann, and then you have art by Tamu Moray with letters by Clayton Cowles. Oh my god, this is the most gorgeous book that you'll ever see. It's probably like top 10 gorgeous book going on right now. I just completely am going to gush about how amazingly gorgeous this book is. Because what Clay Mann does, and Moray does, is there's so many close-ups of faces where you just see all the emotion. You know, you see the emotion of Don Knotts on his face. But then like the colors are very smooth and there's depth to the panel, the way the colors are staggered in there. I'm just thinking about all those gorgeous pages that were in there. It was just brilliant how good those pages were. And then Clay Mann has a good like Trinity page where it's like Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, and they're just like going in, and that has a little edgy to it because there was like speed involved, but the colors were still really rich on that as well. But this book is just brilliant. I'm just gonna use the word brilliant on artwork. Like it is just, it's like the top 10. Like I feel like Isola was like my favorite book artistically this year, the Image book Isola, but this book right here, I think it was just all the close-ups and like the softness of skin tones that were in there, just and the depth. And also the biggest thing is that I read Identity Crisis, and I also read Batman 45, 46, 47, the Booster Gold issues as well. And then I read this book like 3 times. And Identity Crisis is such a gut punch, that first issue. You go through the emotional spectrum of like love, compassion, sadness, anger, revenge. Like it's just like it's like an ultimate roller coaster. And then I read it 15 years ago, and now my life has changed, and the book has different meaning now, and it's just insane how powerful that book is. But then when you compare artwork, it's crazy. Because Identity Crisis feels like it's from like the 80s or the 70s. And now that digital art has changed the medium, you're just like, it's like night and day. It's so weird how like one book was so etched and burned in my brain of like amazingness. And now like you read what's out there now and you're like, wow, the story still plays out, but just the way artwork is done these days is just, it's leaps and bounds. It's crazy. I think the biggest thing is with the colors, how you can digitally color something. Because like before, let's say that Identity Crisis had 100 colors to pick from, and Heroes in Crisis #1 had 10,000 colors to pick from. And so that's where like you get such vastly different tones and qualities of artwork. I mean, you know, because the inking and the other stuff are relatively the same, but like when you just round things out and make them 3D, it's just, it's mind-boggling. Tom King does give us a pretty intense book, and there are a lot of emotions going on in it, and that's what I'm trying to figure out, what's going on with this book. Because if everything in the book is real, I'm going to be really upset about certain characters not getting their just due. If everything in this book is not real, then I'm going to be like, well, this book was just for shock value, and it was just to be like, oh, and then you're like, issue 2, you're like, oh, that none of that happened. So I'm going to delve into spoilers at this point in time now. So if you haven't read the book, I would say, you know, move on to greener pastures and then come back and revisit this. But I want to talk about a few specific things in this book, my theories about what I think is going on, and again, want to delve a little bit more into some pacing and things that happen with that book. So if you have not read the book, now is the time for you to leave. If you have left, I'm going to start spoiling the book now, with the fact that if they killed Wally West, I'm gonna shit my pants and then I'm gonna riot. Like, it's gonna go boom and then boom. That's how it's gonna happen, because like, why do you bring him back just to like kill him off screen? I can't believe you would do that. And then, you know, Connor I'm remotely attached to, and that would be kind of annoying. But Wally's, that's the big one. Wally. All the other people I don't really care about, but Wally, if you kill Wally and his death has no meaning, oh man, I'm gonna go insanely apeshit. But let's start with what I really liked about the book. What I really liked about the book is Tom King devised a way to pace it really well. So you had, like, you were telling your story, and then you would have flashbacks, and those flashbacks would be a 9-panel page, which I think is super bougie, but it works really well with this one, because you have, like, you know, modern comic books, then you go 9-panel, this is your flashback, then modern comic books, then 9-panel, and then you kind of, so you get like a nice pacing where things are cut up and the stories are told, and you get different emotions in there. So I thought that was a really good use of the 9-panel grill. I keep saying grill, I don't know why. The 9-panel grill helps you smoke ribs better than the 6-panel grill. I don't really know what that means. But Anthony Composto, the editor-in-chief of Monkey Spider Ropes, is going to be very excited that I'm like, hey, I like the use of the 9 panels on this book, because he loves it, because he's bougie. I'm, on the other hand, more of the meathead of the team. So I loved all the action scenes. The action scenes were pretty intense, and they were well played out and all that stuff. The way Clayman brought action in there, and how things were super smooth, and then when action kicked in, things got a little rougher, so motion kicked in. It was just, and again, I'm going to talk about that 3 panels of the Trinity and how that looked. And then Superman in the field, and then this goes back to Tom King's writing, like, there were some really good moments in there, and I really like this book. I gave it a 4.4 out of 5. I gave Tom King's writing a 4. I gave the art 4.5. I gave the colors 4.5, and I gave Clayton Cowles' lettering a 4. And so you're at a 4.4. There you go. My only gripe with this book is that if things aren't real, like, you know, they mentioned that there is a virtual reality computer to help superheroes heal, which basically it's at the end of the book, and you're like, wow, okay, so everything I saw could be fake because it was all in the virtual reality computer, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, you know, because why would he put it in there if it didn't mean anything? Or maybe this is the first tragedy, and then they're going to go off to the superhero. I don't know, but my theory is that it's all fake. And then if it's all fake, then, like, I don't think Tom King gave me enough in the first issue for me to want to buy issue 2. I'm going to buy it because it's the biggest book ever, and like on you know, reputation alone, I'm going to buy this book because it's the event book. But like, you compare the last page of Identity Crisis with Heroes in Crisis, you know, one's like, it just grabs you and sucks you in, and you're like, oh no, I need the next book, like, right now. And then this one kind of just, Heroes in Crisis, just kind of ends, and you're like, I need the next book because this didn't end properly. There wasn't like that, like, you know, gotcha moment or anything like that. You still want that second book, but you want it for different reasons. And one's more of like a passionate, I need this book, and the other one's like, you started to say something and then you ended, like you didn't complete your sentence. And so that's where I am with that. But Tom King is gonna hit so many different levels with this book of emotions. You know, like, you can read it as a general fan, and then if you want to see things in it, you can see things in it, and then if you want to, like, write a thesis paper on the book, you're gonna definitely have the option to do that as well. So this book is going to be just an interesting book to dissect and break apart, you know, like each panel and what things mean, and what does Tom King think they mean, or think they mean to us. So I'm very excited to break down this book. Let me know what you think of the book after you get done reading it. You know, hit the comments below here and be like, hey Matt, I love the book, or hey Matt, I hated the book, or hey Matt, you know, you're right, the book just kind of ends. But you know, the comments are where I want to talk to you guys. So I'm Matt Zardo, this is Monkeys Fighting Robots, and I will see you next week.